If you can dream it, we can plan it. Oh, where do you want to go? Just let me know. Magic moments, far off oceans. We're chasing sunsets, chasing hope. Pack your bags, we'll handle the rest. With dreams and destinations, we're chasing the best. Your imagination, our inspiration, will take you coast to coast, no hesitation. Let dreams and destinations.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreams and Destinations, a travel podcast brought to you by the agents of A Dream and a Wish Travel Co. I'm your host, Travel Wiz Liz. You can find me on Instagram at Travel Wiz Liz if you were guessing. And I'm joined today by co-host Ashlyn.
Hey, let's be friends on Instagram. My handle is the.duchess.of.disney. So many dots.
Mine has the dots too, but I'm pretty sure if you just type Travel Wiz Liz, you'll find me. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you type in the Duchess of Disney, I'll pop right up. Hopefully.
And we would love to connect with you guys on there. So welcome to our fourth episode, where Ashlyn and I are finally healthy and we sound like humans again.
I know. It's so nice to have nobody sick.
Oh my gosh, that was the roughest flu I think that has gone around in, I don't even know, like ever in my household.
I know. Everyone had it. Like, it just stay healthy out there. Use your hand sanitizer, wash your hands.
Yes, please do. Please do. Stay healthy, still stay clean so you can travel and go to Disney World.
Yeah.
So let's hop right into today's episode. So today we are going to step inside the enchanting world of Walt Disney World Deluxe Resorts. Join us for a tour of these magically themed hotels as we cover the ins and outs of choosing the best deluxe resort for your dream vacation based on location, food options, amenities, ambiance, and transportation. As travel agents, Ashlyn and I have collectively stayed at every single deluxe resort on property, and we're here to give you our honest opinions on these luxury splurges. So follow along today, and we will teach you all about the best resorts on property.
The biggest and the best. And let me tell you, luxury, the Disney Deluxe Resorts, definitely in the splurge category. Definitely in the splurge category. You know, in prior episodes, we touched on the Disney Resorts collection. And these are the 30 or so resorts that are located on Walt Disney World property that are actually owned and operated by Disney. And we can break those down into three categories, kind of four categories, but three main categories. That is deluxe, moderate, and value resorts. And, you know, Disney also offers deluxe villas, which is kind of like off in their own category too. So we'll talk about all of those individually in future episodes. But in this episode, we are just honing in on the deluxe, the swanky, chic, and luxurious. And I know this is going to be a ridiculously tough question, Liz. It's a Sophie's Choice question, but try if you can. What is your absolute number one favorite deluxe Walt Disney World resort?
All right. So overall, if I have to pick one, I've got to go with Boardwalk Inn. I love staying on the Boardwalk area. So for those of you who've never stayed or been to the Boardwalk area, this is off the backside of Epcot World Showcase. If you exit or in between France and the UK, you'll walk out to this big area and it looks like the Jersey Shore Boardwalk. It's a big circle around this man-made lake. It's got the Skyliner right there. You can walk in and out of Epcot. You can walk in and out of Hollywood Studios, which, you know, everyone has their opinions about parks. We talked about ours a little last week, and Epcot and Hollywood are kind of like the bread and butter of my Walt Disney World trips. So I need to be somewhere I can walk to both. So this is a loaded question, though, because there are several deluxe resorts in that loop as well, and I have stayed at them all. But Boardwalk, first of all, it's like the most quaint little resort. So it's got that, that old timey charm of like, turn of the century resort where you walk into this beautiful lobby and it's got this carousel right in the lobby. It smells amazing, like cookies and bakery items. It just smells so good. But it's wonderful because you walk in, you go to the desk, you check in, and then they'll direct you to one of two wings. One side is the Boardwalk Villas, one side is the Boardwalk Inn. So depending which you're staying in, and then that's it. You just hit the elevator and you go to your floor and you walk to your room. And for me, I love that luxury, but also that kind of smaller feel of the resort where it doesn't feel so spread out. We love the boardwalk, like there's like a courtyard area right outside that like the kids are always out there and the cast members are amazing. They're out there with hula hoops and Jenga and like balls for the kids. And so my daughter goes out there and loves to kick the ball around and play with all the kids. They do movies out there. They have nighttime entertainment just like they do on the Jersey Shore, street performer type things out there. They have carnival games that my husband is a rock star at those. So the whole ambiance of Boardwalk Inn. And I mean, I just think it's such an old timey, charming resort. And it's just so pretty. Like it's one of those deluxe resorts that I think is almost like an off the beaten path Disney resort too. So it never feels really crowded. Even when it's sold out, it doesn't feel super crowded or overwhelming with people. It just, because it's not a destination resort like, the Polynesian or some of these other ones that people just go to see the resort. People don't do that with the boardwalk as often. So I just love that really quiet, beautiful resort. And I mean, the amenities there are gorgeous too. The rooms are stunning. If you pick your room right, you can have a view of Epcot fireworks. It's just, I mean, we stay there twice a year at least. So it's my, yeah, that's the one I'm going to splurge on
Numero
now.
uno.
Yeah, I just love it.
I do love that one. It's a really good one.
What's yours?
This is a really hard question. It really is. I'm like you. I think I've said this before on the show. My husband and I love to spend most of our time at Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So that whole boardwalk area, which includes the Boardwalk Inn and then the Beach Club, Yacht Club, and also the Swan and Dolphin, which are not owned by Disney, but they're considered deluxe resorts. And they have amazing amenities, but that's a whole other episode. We love staying in that area. It's utter perfection. That whole area is gorgeous. So I will say we're going to be neighbors on this one. You stay over at the boardwalk and I will be across the lake from you at the Beach Club. Beach Club is probably my numero uno. I mean, first and foremost, the pool, which we'll talk more about pools later, and we will probably talk a lot about the pool at the Beach Club. But the pool is just unreal. And then the ambiance in that hotel is it's light and bright and airy and breezy. And I just love it. You walk in there and again, the lobby smell is like, you can take a deep breath and just relax. It is so gorgeous. That's my number one. That's my number one for sure. But then it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like 1A, 1B. Beach Club is 1A, and then Polynesian for me is like 1B.
Okay.
Which is over on the monorail line. And that one, I think Polynesian is a favorite among a lot of people who go to Disney. It is just so quintessentially Disney. It's one of the original resorts from 1971 when the park opened, when Disney World opened. And it has those like retro nostalgic vibes to it. And it's just so relaxing in there. And I will say a huge draw for me and for my husband to Polynesian is Trader Sam's Grog Grotto.
I haven't been there yet.
You're
I'm dying to go.
Now this is another Phantasmic situation all over again. Do we have to do this every episode where I'm like, you have to?
Probably. Well, so the first time I went to Polynesian was in January after the agency trip. Danny and Angelica were like, okay, you're going. You've never been there. it's not one we've ever stayed at when so I just hadn't ever been there. And I've always said like, oh, I really want to go to Trader Sam's. But because I'd never stayed in that like monorail area, I was like kind of intimidated to figure out how to get to it because I'd always stopped at the ticket center, TTC. And then like going past it to get to Polynesian, I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm just going to skip it.
I'm a scared.
I'm scared. So that is one I will let you take me to.
Absolutely.
Without a fight.
And that's one you can go there with kids during the day, but then at some point it's 21 and up in the evening, and it gets really fun. It is, for those of you who don't know, it is a tiki bar. It's super kitschy. It's very, very interactive. The bartenders put on a show. And so that alone is like draw enough for me to want to go to the Polynesian all the time. My husband and I think since we've been together, we've gone every single time we've been to Disney.
Wow.
Like, we love it. It's right up there with Oga's Cantina in terms of like how immersive it is, It's just, and the drinks are phenomenal. It's so good. So for me, yes, Beach Club and Polynesian, 1A, 1B. And I know this was supposed to be just pick one and you're done, but but I do love Wilderness Lodge. For me, it's just a nostalgia factor because I stayed there all the time growing up with my family, with my grandparents and parents and cousins and brother and everybody. So it's a huge nostalgic thing for me. Plus, it's just very chill and understated, and it's not pretentious at all, It's very chill. And I think it's the coziest resort on property. So
I do like going to that lobby around, like especially around Christmas time, and it is so cozy sitting by the fireplace.
I know.
I love it. Yeah. So, okay, I should have listed 5 resorts.
You can go for it if you want to. You can list all 9 deluxe resorts. We'll sit here. We'll
just sit here. This is my one, but I think my 1B is honestly the beach club, though. I really, really do love the beach club. We just end up at Boardwalk every year because my father-in-law's from New Jersey, and so they've decided that is the only resort they want to stay at because it just, to him, it's like feels like home. So we always stay there, and we introduced them this past year to club level.
Oh, fancy!
And
you got real fancy.
Oh yeah, and now they won't do anything else. Like it's club level at the Boardwalk. That is the only option. There is nothing else. So when we do that trip with my in-laws every year, it's always Boardwalk club level now, which shucks cadoodle.
Darn it. Not again.
Man, I gotta go. Shoot. So Ashlyn, you mentioned briefly the levels of resorts. So what makes Deluxe so different from the moderate in value?
Oh, girl. This is probably going to be a long-winded answer, so
it's okay. we got all night.
Get comfy in your chair there, because there's quite a bit that separates deluxe category resorts from the others. Obviously, deluxe resorts are definitely your top tier resorts. So first and foremost, you are getting that luxury treatment, that luxury experience that you're not going to get from a moderate or a value resort. And of course, it comes with a higher price point, but just keep in mind you are getting that top quality, unmatched Disney hospitality and the most stunning ambiance at these resorts. And as someone who's a big fan of the ambiance, deluxe resorts, they just have it. They have it over everyone else. The decor and the architecture are elevated to the standards of other luxury resorts that you would go to, think Four Seasons, stuff like that. Just utterly gorgeous. It's stunning. 10s across the board for decor and for ambiance and for architecture. Just beautiful. And most of the deluxe resorts, are really just head and shoulders above moderate and above value resorts as far as the ambiance and the architecture is concerned. It's just they're not even in the same stratosphere. They're just, they're so good. So that's one big thing. And that's noticeable from the exterior. And then of course, as soon as you walk into the lobby, it is unreal. When you walk into the lobby of these deluxe resorts, you immediately feel that sense of, oh wow, this is luxury. Like, is this where the royalty stays? Is this do I belong here? Yeah, the lobbies are beautiful, and as we have both said a couple of times now, they smell unreal. Like they just they smell so good. I wish I could get my house to smell like a Disney resort because it's yummy.
They sell. I got it for Christmas last year. They sell like the essential oils for my little diffuser, and I mean, you put in the Polynesian and boom, Polynesian. Like they are so spot on good. I'll have to find the brand.
Yes.
Maybe we'll give them a shout out and they'll send you one. But it smells like the lobby, like it's my favorite. My husband picked it out. I think it was him. I hope it was him. maybe a volleyball player. I don't know, but it's good.
Oh my gosh, I need that. So yeah, and then let's talk about rooms. Again, with the decor, you're getting that more like plush, luxurious space. Whereas the moderate and the value resorts, it's a very basic room you're walking into, like you would a Holiday Inn. It's much more fun and colorful, and there are Disney characters and, nods to Disney films. However, it's very basic. That's not the case when you walk into a deluxe resort. It is luxe. It is beautiful. And also with the rooms, you are getting a much larger standard room than you would at the others. And you're also getting a wider range of options in terms of suites and villas, the different types of rooms that are available to you. And some of the moderate and value resorts are just massive in terms of how many rooms they have. They're just really, really spread out. And you look at the deluxe resorts and you're like, oh my gosh, these are giant, giant hotels. And they are. I mean, they have big lobbies. They have much larger guest areas and a lot more amenities and dining options. So they are big resorts, but they do have far fewer rooms than the moderate and the value resorts. And you may be saying, well, why is that important? I'll tell you why that's important. Number one, they're going to book up faster because they have fewer rooms. So you're going to want to make sure that you book well in advance. And number two, because they have fewer rooms, there is a lot less walking involved. For example, the Caribbean Beach Resort, that's a moderate resort, and I'm pretty sure they have like 2,000 hotel rooms. That is a lot of hotel rooms. That's huge. And their campus is very, very, very spread out. So depending on where your room is located, you are schlepping quite a ways to get to the lobby or the Skyliner or wherever it is you're going. Whereas, where you stay, Liz, the boardwalk, they only have like 380 rooms, which makes getting into, the lobby or breakfast or to the boats much, much easier. And we all know when you're in Disney World, you are spending a lot of time on your feet in the parks, walking around, waiting in lines. So it's really nice to not have to walk around so much when you're in your own resort. You want to make things easier for you. And then let's talk about food, too, one of our favorite subjects. At value resorts, you're only getting those quick service sort of cafeteria style options for food. You get the same at moderate resorts. Plus, you're also getting a couple, like one or two, maybe table service options and like maybe a bar lounge area. They're all very relaxed and chill for the most part, all very casual. At Deluxe, you definitely get those more casual options. You get the quick service options, but the dining options at Deluxe resorts are plentiful. In addition to the quick service, you also have really, really fabulous full, table service dining, signature fine dining options, and you also have at a couple of locations, even character dining. And then, of course, we talked about Trader Sam's. The bar and lounge scene at the Deluxe Resorts is
so good.
It's so
So
good. And we talked about this in previous episodes. There are like bar crawls that you can do throughout Disney. There's several different ones, and a lot of them are through the Deluxe Resorts because they're just so many. It's so good.
Well, if you look at the like bars and lounges too at those deluxe resorts, they're all very on point to the theme of the resort too. So Trader Sam's is a very like tiki style bar. So I'm told, I haven't been, the boardwalk in their bar is called the Abracadabra Bar, and it's like a magician bar because, the Jersey Shore is very known for street performers and things like that. So they really do theme all of the bars and lounges based on the resort too. So that just makes them all so unique and so on point with branding, which Disney pays so much attention to that. So I think that's such a cool factor of all those bars and lounges too.
Yeah, and the same can be said for the restaurants too, the sit down restaurants and everything. They're just themed to perfection based on the hotel. So overall, food at the Deluxe Resorts is a major, and I do mean major, upgrade. And also a major upgrade, pools and amenities. So with the Deluxe Resort, you're getting fitness centers. Grand Floridian has a really, really phenomenal spa. You can do tennis or pickleball at some of the Deluxe Resorts. And then some of them offer, things like bike rentals or Surrey rentals or boat rentals. And these are things that you're just not going to get at other category hotels. The pool scene at Deluxe Resorts is definitely above and beyond what you're going to find at moderate and value resorts also. Moderate pools, they do have slides. And so do Deluxe Resorts, of course. But with Deluxe, you're also getting just really gorgeously themed pool areas, and the bars offer, not just what you would assume a regular poolside bar would offer. They're again offering you that elevated food and drink there that you can only get at a Deluxe Resort. And then in some cases you can also rent cabanas at some of the pools. So overall, just the pool experiences is far more just relaxing and luxurious than moderate or value. And
a lot of that goes, I think a lot of that goes down to the size of the resort too, because when you have 1,000 people sharing, Caribbean Beach is a great example. Their pool is great. They have a really, really nice pool, but they have thousands of families sharing that one pool, whereas the beach club, which also has, we'll talk about that. The beach club has probably the best pool on property, but they're only sharing it, with a few hundred comparatively. So it's, it does make a difference just for, how crowded the pool is, how clean the pool area is, and the smaller number of travelers staying at the resorts definitely make for like just a overall more luxurious experience. And that's very noticeable in the pool areas.
Yeah, it's much more relaxing. And a lot of the Deluxe pool areas are larger in size too. So you can really, you have space to breathe. And not only that, but I think all of the Deluxe Resorts have their main pool, but then they also have a smaller, at least one smaller, quieter pool elsewhere. So that also helps to cut down on all of the crowds at the pools and at the Deluxe Resorts. Yeah.
And my personal favorite feature of a Deluxe Resort, I know this sounds ridiculous. I think I said it last week and I will say it every time. I love that your door does not open to the outdoors, because I'm a Florida girl. There are lots of things that crawl and fly and do crazy things in the state of Florida, especially when you're going in the summer months when it's warmer and things like that. And the last thing I want to worry about when I open my hotel door is a gecko or a swarm of mosquitoes getting in my room. So I very much love that the deluxe resorts have a hallway
Yes.
that you open your door into. It sounds silly, but I don't need to open my hotel door to the outside world. And, you know, a lot of the value resorts I've stayed at, if you don't get a preferred room, you just book the cheap room, it opens to like the jungle of Florida. And it's like you're basically just looking at a swamp outside of your door. So I like my hallway. I just do.
We all love a hallway. We all love a hallway.
It sounds so silly, but it's if I'm going to splurge, I want a hallway.
Okay, so hallways are a must for Liz. Now, let's talk about location. When you are picking a deluxe resort, outside of making sure you have a hallway, how much does the location impact on choosing the best option for you and the people in your travel party?
So I think with the deluxe resorts, you are always going to have an advantage of superior location and transportation to some of the parks. So it's not going to be to all of the parks, but the majority of the deluxe resorts will give you much more easy access to the park. You know, we talked about the Magic Kingdom resorts on the monorail loop, which is the Contemporary Resort, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian. You know, those ones you have the option of jumping on the monorail, which takes you right into Magic Kingdom, which also the monorail can take you to Epcot. You also have a boat that takes you directly to Magic Kingdom from the Grand Floridian and from the Polynesian. Or my personal favorite mode of transportation, you can walk right into the park. And to me, not having to wait for transportation is just clutch when
Huge.
I'm traveling. I mean, with my family or even just my husband and I, because you know, there are times where, you know, you're just ready to go and you don't want to have to sit and wait in that line for the bus to show up. And, you know, there are days where you will wait 35, 45 minutes for a bus to show up to get back to your resort. So having that proximity to the park it's a really, really big perk for those deluxe resorts, you know. And Ashlyn and I talked about how we both love Epcot and Hollywood, which is why we pick the boardwalk, because there's a boat that goes directly to the parks, or you can walk to either park. When you're traveling, just having that flexibility and that freedom makes life just so much simpler. It makes it less stressful. You know, if you're traveling with littles and you know you can just throw them in the stroller and walk back to your hotel for a nap or for a break, and you're not sitting there waiting for the bus, unloading everything, putting it all on. It makes a big difference in the stress level of your vacation. So, you know, when you're thinking of deluxe resort, that's part of the stress those deluxe resorts take off is, you know, there will be some like Animal Kingdom Lodge, Saratoga, Old Key West. Those ones, your only choice is bus transportation in and out of the parks. And for some of these, you know, the ones on the Magic Kingdom area, you have to take a bus to get to Hollywood Studios or Animal Kingdom. You know, if you're at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're going to have to take a bus everywhere. If you're staying over at the boardwalk area, you're going to have to take a bus to get to Magic Kingdom or to get to Animal Kingdom. So you definitely have some, you know, bus taking like you have to do at any of the other resorts, but just having one or two parks that you can access was such a simpler mode of transportation. And, you know, now that I have a kid and we go all the time, not having to fold a stroller to get on the bus is worth the extra money. And it's so funny because I talk to people that are like, it's not that big of a deal folding a stroller. I'm like, no, it's not, but I hate it. But like, if I can avoid it, I'm going to avoid it. When we talk about like the boardwalk area or the areas that have the Skyliner access, the Skyliner is one of those modes of transportation that's continuously running. So even when you wait in line, you know, it doesn't feel like a long wait because the ride never stops. Like it just continues. It just goes. So the line is constantly moving. And to me, just having that flexibility and that simplicity, it makes it worth a little extra splurge in my opinion. I think it does.
Yeah, I totally agree. Being able to walk makes everything just a little bit more a little bit more flexible. And you want to be sometimes, closer to certain parks that you're going to be spending the majority of your time in. So one thing to definitely keep in mind is, if you're traveling with kids and you're going to be spending quite a bit of time at Magic Kingdom, try to stay on the monorail line. Don't go stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, because that is all the way on the opposite side of Walt Disney World from Magic Kingdom, and it takes a long time to get there, and you can only get there via bus. So these are things that you need to consider when you're selecting a resort. I think transportation and location are big ones.
So we said the other big one, the big perk if you're considering a Walt Disney World vacation, especially if you are from a northern state or, you have snow right now, is that gorgeous Florida weather. It is 80 degrees here today. So what better way to enjoy Florida weather than checking out a pool? So what would you say is the best pool at a deluxe resort, and why is it the Beach Club?
Okay, well, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. You are.
Sorry, what's the best pool? My bad.
No. You are 1,000,000,000% correct. Okay. And actually, there's been a study done on this topic. There's been a lot of research done by yours truly, by myself. I have done a study. And the evidence is conclusive in my study. Beach and Yacht Club has the best pool, and that's just science. It's just scientific facts, everyone. Just so you know. So the pool we're talking about is called Stormalong Bay. And it is actually shared by the Beach Club and the Yacht Club. And let's just get down to facts here, and we'll just let you know why this pool happens to be the best pool in Walt Disney World. I will hear no opinions to the contrary. Okay. So first and foremost, Stormalong Bay is a 3-acre large sand bottom pool. What? You heard me. 3-acre large sand bottom pool. So wrap your head around that. Now, let's talk about ambiance again. I am the queen of ambiance. I love ambiance. You can call me ambiance, okay? I love ambiance. The ambiance of this pool area is ridiculous. You've got the backdrop of these two gorgeous deluxe resorts behind you. Then the pool area is it's clean and lovely, and there's palm trees swaying in the breeze, and there's sandy areas, and there's these beautiful white bridges going across areas of the pool, and little waterfalls trickling. It is just stunning. And then on the other side of the pool area, you have Crescent Lake with boats going back and forth. And then you also have the view of the Boardwalk Inn on the other side of that. So it doesn't matter where you look. The views are stunning. The vibes are vibing. It is amazing. Now, if that's all not enough, there's also a lazy river. There is a lazy river, sand bottom pool, lazy river. But wait, there's more. There is a life-size, full-scale pirate shipwreck with a water slide coming out of it. And oh, by the way, that water slide is the longest water slide on Walt Disney World's, at a Walt Disney World resort, okay, outside of the water parks. It is a long water slide. And then you also have Hurricane Hannah's is right there, which is the poolside bar, and they just have delicious food. Again, it's that, deluxe resort, upper scale food that they serve. Usually there's like crab offerings and lobster stuff. It's just so yummy. So I think they recently changed up their menu, because they used to have those really delicious lobster rolls.
Oh my gosh, yes.
They were so good.
Those were good.
And those are not on the menu anymore. So I would like to make this my official plea to bring back the lobster rolls at Stormalong Bay. But they do have like, I know they still have their like, it's like a poutine, but with crab on it, like French
Oh,
fries. And
yeah.
that's really good. Anyway, the food there is phenomenal. And listen, almost all of the deluxe resorts have just insane pools. Like it just is what it is. Like you're not going to go to a deluxe resort and be like, man, I don't like this pool. Like all of the pools are great. I do love Copper Creek pools. The Copper Creek pool at Wilderness Lodge. They also have really, really fire food and drink options by the pool, and that's more kind of more relaxed and quaint, where you feel like you're at like your lake house cabin, and it's totally different vibe. I love it so much, and I love at the Grand Floridian. It's called the beach pool. It's not the main pool in the courtyard, which I think is called the courtyard pool. The beach pool is off over to the side. It's their smaller, quieter pool. It's got this gorgeous waterfall, and you can rent cabanas there. So if you're in the mood for a little bit more of a leisurely time at the pool, where you're not going to have as many, kids running around or whatever, and it's not going to be as crowded, the beach pool is really, really good. And then of course you cannot go wrong with the Polynesian pool either. You've got that big rock formation there, like volcano, and that is tropical vibes all the way. The only pool at a deluxe resort that I don't really care for is the contemporary.
Mm-hmm. I knew it.
That's going to be a no for me, dog.
It's just a no.
It's just a no.
You can tell it was built in 1971, and they haven't made any updates to it since that day. I mean, it's a huge pool. I'll give you that. It's a very big pool. It's got a restaurant and a bar right there, just like all the other ones do. When we stayed there, my daughter really liked the like beach area where you could go, and they had like beach volleyball, and they had buckets, and you could build sand, which a lot of the deluxe resorts have that sand area for the kids to play, that beachy area. But yeah, I agree. It's just it's just a pool. Like it's no better to me. Like the All-Star Movies pool is better than that pool, because at least the theming is more fun. You know what I mean? Like
the theming is definitely more fun. That is for sure. That is for sure. I do like that you have like water views there, because you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right on Bay Lake there, but and Seven Seas Lagoon. So you have that, but it's not. Yeah, it's nothing to write home about.
Mm-mm. It's not. You don't stay at the Contemporary for the pool for sure.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff they do with the pools too, I've noticed from staying, value, moderate, and the deluxe one, like the poolside activities, they do them at all the resorts. Like they will have the cast members come out and do poolside activities. But I always felt at the deluxe, like there was just a lot more interactive, like fun things. It wasn't like the value. It kind of felt like they came out every now and then, and they're like, all right, let's do this quick trivia, and then they'd leave and we'd never see them again. Whereas at some of these deluxe ones, they had, they'd do trivia, and then they'd come out like a few minutes later and they'd play a different game, or they had a cornhole tournament, or so they really had a lot of like fun interactive stuff that happened at the pool. And they had all these like cute little prizes for the kids. And that's just such a cool thing too, because as an adult just laying by the pool, for me, I could just crash out there and be happy all day. But if you have kids that are in that tweeny age especially, and they don't want to swim the whole time, and they kind of are over the water slide because they've been on it 30 times, having those activities for them is really fun, and the kids get super into it too. And that's just a really cool added perk of a Disney resort versus just a hotel pool, for sure. The other pool that I personally really liked as an adult, I don't know if I had kids if I would like it. The Riviera pool was very, very relaxing. You've got the view of the Skyliner right there. They've got the little cabanas that you don't have to rent. That's just like the pool chairs are these like big, they look like a cornucopia thing. You just sit inside. When we're talking pool bar and food, that might be some of the best food, like quick service poolside food. It's just phenomenal. That food is so good. I go to the Riviera pool bar for food when I'm not staying there. That's how good it is. So For kids, it's a very small pool, so it's just for kids and families. I don't think it's as enjoyable as a pool as like beach club or one of those, but the ambiance of that one is very bougie, and I like it.
She loves it.
I like the bougie
Hey, speaking of food, you want to talk more about food?
always.
Okay, let's talk about dining. Do dining options really make a difference when you're choosing a resort?
Wholeheartedly, yes, if you like to eat, which we do. So you know, Ashlyn and I are always going to say food makes a difference. With the deluxe resorts, you know, we touched on it already. You have your quick service options, so you can still go and get that quick meal in the morning. You know, quick lunch, whatever. You can do the mobile order and pick up to go food. The big difference is now you are getting these elevated dining experiences, which if you're anything like my family and you like to, you know, have a few nice dinners during your vacation, whatever it is, having those options right there at your hotel is just wonderful, you know, because when you're staying at a value resort, for example, if you want to do a nice sit down dinner, you're going to have to travel somewhere to have that dinner. You're going to have to go to another resort. You're going to have it at one of the parks. You're going to have to go to Disney Springs, you know, whereas if you are staying at a deluxe resort, you can walk right out, you know, right out down out of your room down to the lobby, and boom, there's 3 fine dining options just right there staring you in the face. For me, I think that's just such a great option, you know, and all of these deluxe resorts, they're always interconnected to at least 1 or 2 other deluxe resorts too. So when you stay at the boardwalk, you have boardwalk, beach club, yacht club, all right there, and those are all very easily accessible. You know, so if I'm staying at the boardwalk and I really want to do a character breakfast, I can go over to beach club and go to Cape May and have character breakfast there. You know, if I'm staying at the Polynesian and I really want to have breakfast with Mickey and friends, I can just ride the monorail over to the Contemporary and go to Chef Mickey's. So the simplicity, again, I'm big on simple vacations because Disney's complicated enough. The simplicity of just being able to have those fine dining experiences without, you know, an hour of travel time to and from. I just think that's such a great perk. And, you know, you can have a very nice dinner after a long day at the park. You're not just grabbing a pizza and going back to your room. You can, you know, at a lot of these fine dining restaurants, you can sit down and have a meal, or you can order to go food and take a steak dinner from Steakhouse 71 back to your room now instead of a pizza. So for me, that's like right there. That is worth its weight in gold, because I love food and I want to eat good food on vacation. I don't just want to shove crap in my face. Like I do want to shove crap in my face, but I also want to eat good food too. So having those options in your resort or adjacent to your resort just simplifies the whole experience even more. And a lot of the times too, even if you don't have dining reservations, if you're staying at the resort, you have a good chance of getting into those even without a reservation. You know, I remember last Halloween we stayed at the Contemporary for the Halloween party, and the next day we had reservations at Steakhouse 71, but not until like 10 o'clock for breakfast. And I just walked down. I said, I'm going to see if I can get us into Chef Mickey's. And within 90 seconds of me putting my name on the list, they're like, your table's ready. And there were no reservations on the app. Like you have more of a chance of getting in because you're right there. You know, you're not calling ahead or trying to get in. You're just right there. And if you get in, great. And if not, then you go to the quick service. So having the option of fine dining and the proximity to fine dining, totally worth it.
Totally worth it. And let us not forget about the phenomenal bars and lounges. Because again, they're so good. And you can take your kids in. They've got, most of them have, you know, small plates and stuff where you can eat. Some of them have really gorgeous views. I love the Enchanted Rose bar at the Grand Floridian because you can go sit out on the balcony there. Hardly anybody ever goes to sit out there. It is so quiet out there, and you have views of Seven Seas Lagoon, and it is lovely. So there's all of these little places where you can pop into to just kind of relax. Like you just need a half an hour to just, have a glass of wine and some Parmesan truffle fries and just chill out for a minute. Those bars and lounges are perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. And yes, I agree with what you said. Being able to have all of these fine dining options at your fingertips is really kind of invaluable when you're on vacation. And I'm like you, I want to be able to eat well on vacation.
Okay, so moving on from food, because I know we could get stuck on that topic for an hour and a half.
That'll be a different
Less than
podcast. Probably
that'll be like 6 podcasts. It'll be the food of Hollywood studios. The food, like we're gonna have to break that down into like individual areas.
a whole series.
But I think the question a lot of people have when it comes to deluxe resorts is about the cost of them. We've said that they're more expensive. So what deluxe resorts would you say are worth the splurge? And are there any that you could find for lower prices that would make it a little more worthwhile?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly deluxe resorts in general are worth the splurge, especially if you are having a special trip or you're celebrating something. Totally worth the splurge. And we're always looking out for promos. Keep that in mind so we can maybe upgrade or elevate your vacation from staying at maybe a moderate resort to a deluxe resort, because occasionally, the pricing on these promos is just so great. Sometimes we can snag you a steal of a deal. But there are definitely within the deluxe category of resorts, there are different tiers and different price points. So Wilderness Lodge, for example, is much more affordable than staying at the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian. So, there's definitely different price points to work with within the deluxe resort category. And it's not realistic for many travelers, for most people, to stay at a deluxe resort every single time they visit Walt Disney World. Certainly, Liz and I don't do that. I would love to, but I haven't won the lottery yet. So, when we go, we stay at every category, but there are definitely times where we have those special trips or where we want to treat ourselves or our families. So we go for that upgrade, and we, instead of staying at a value or a moderate resort, we upgrade to a deluxe resort. And many of our clients will do the same. And there's that marked difference between staying at a value resort and a deluxe resort. So most definitely, sometimes it is worth the splurge. And we've talked about budgeting and stuff. We can help you pick out a resort that is right for you and your price point, and put together a budget for you, and help you to make those smaller payments over a longer period of time, just to make everything more manageable. So yes, deluxe is worth the splurge.
If you really want to experience a deluxe resort, but that staying for your full 7 nights is out of the question, doing a split stay is a really great option. Something that we as travel agents do a lot with our families. And a split stay is, simply put, it's where you split your stay between a couple resorts. And so maybe you stay at a deluxe resort for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of your trip, because oftentimes weekday pricing is a lot less than weekend pricing. And then maybe you check into a moderate or a value at the end of your stay, or vice versa. Sometimes I like to start value and then move up, because once I go to the deluxe, if I have to move down to a value after that, I'm just very sad.
It's a real bummer.
Yeah. So, but that's another way that you can experience the deluxe resorts at Walt Disney World without really breaking the bank. So it's a mini splurge, not a massive splurge. And that probably could be another episode right there, doing
absolutely.
split stays.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
That's a really good point. And that is something that a lot of people do. Certainly we do split stays all the time. And it gives you a little bit, kind of like the best of both worlds. I do love a split stay. So are there certain hotels that we would suggest during specific times of year, for example, holidays or festivals or what have you?
So again, holiday episode could be its own thing.
It will be. Oh, it will be.
The deluxe resorts around Christmas time are just like they leave me speechless, and I'm not even there. I'm just picturing that Christmas tree at Wilderness Lodge and I just am disappearing into it right now. When you think of holidays at Walt Disney World, you always think of the over the top decorations and trees and gingerbread houses, and the deluxe resorts make it their mission to put on a show at the holidays. So each of the deluxe resort has its own holiday decorations that are just over the top. They're the decorations you wish you could hang in your home during the holidays. Several of them have these massive gingerbread displays that they take months to create with, like there are some that are larger than like a small apartment. They're all massive. There's a working carousel at Beach Club.
The gingerbread house in the Grand Floridian, for example, is so large that they have people, actual human beings, cast members inside of it selling smaller gingerbread houses to guests. That's how big it is. It's ridiculous.
I hope it comes back this year.
Yeah.
So definitely the deluxe at the holidays, even if you don't stay in them, you have to visit them because they're gorgeous. It's so beautiful what they do. If you are staying at like a time of year where there's a big Epcot festival, obviously we're going to suggest you stay in that boardwalk loop to just give you easy access. All the festivals, the hub of most of the festivals is right there back at the World Showcase. So having that easy entry in and out of the World Showcase is great. Obviously, if you're going to like a Christmas party or the Halloween party at Magic Kingdom, 1000% stay on the monorail loop to avoid the bus crowds at the end. My personal favorite is Contemporary because when I'm ready to leave, I don't have to deal with anything. I just walk my butt back to my hotel because those party nights sometimes wrap up around 1 o'clock in the morning. And if you're there with kids, especially, like you don't want to wait another hour to ride a bus back to your resort. So there's definitely an advantage to the location during those parties and festivals and things like that for certain.
For holidays and festivals, you nailed it. Those are definitely where I would send people. And then, different times of year, like summertime, obviously you're going to want to pick a hotel that has a pool that's best suited to you and your family, whoever's traveling with you. You're going to want a really good pool for those hot Florida summer days. And then, if you're celebrating something special, if you're going for a special occasion, we may point you to different hotels depending on what you're celebrating and who you're traveling with, So I'm going to send a couple on their honeymoon to a very different location than I'm going to send a full family. Maybe I will, but you've got like more romantic resort options and more family oriented resort options. So that's a whole other.
But they're all on that bougie scale.
They're all on that bougie scale.
Okay, so before we kind of get into the end of this episode, we talked about our favorites.
Yeah.
I feel it would be good for us to share our least favorite stays. So of the deluxe resort, which resort will you never stay at again? Or maybe you'll only stay at if everything else is sold out, but you're still jonesing for that bougie treatment.
I feel like you are setting me up to get a lot of flack for what I'm about to say.
Don't worry, I'm going to get it too.
Okay. Truthfully, there's not a single deluxe resort that I would never stay at. I'm not gonna kick a deluxe resort to the curb. I'm just not. Like if someone says, "Hey, let's go stay," I'm like, "Okay, yeah, let's go." But oh boy, I'm gonna get so much flack for this. I will say, I have stayed at every single deluxe resort on property except for the Riviera, and there is a reason behind that. Now, I have been to the Riviera many, many times. I spent a lot of time there. I have eaten there at multiple locations. I think the ambiance is great. I think the Skyliner views are wonderful. I've been inside of the rooms there. Topolino's, I think, is amazing. And I am totally obsessed with all of the artwork. For those of you who don't know, there's just tons of really gorgeous Disney artwork all over the place, and those beautiful mosaic pieces that are out by the Skyliner. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. However, please don't come for me in the comments. I think Riviera is the most overrated deluxe resort on Walt Disney World property. And probably the just the most overrated resort in general. Like, not even just deluxe. I think it's just overrated in general. It just doesn't live up to the price tag, in my opinion. The theming is just a little bit more generic, and especially compared to the other deluxe resorts. And honestly, even compared to some of the moderate resorts, I think the theming is just kind of meh. It falls short for me. And there's not that large, impressive lobby when you come in. Everything just kind of feels small and meh. So overall for me, it just pales in comparison to the other luxury resorts. And honey, if I'm going to be spending all of this money on a deluxe resort, I want big, I want fancy, I want luxury. And the Riviera doesn't do it for me.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm going to have to go with, and I'm going to get flack for this one too, Animal Kingdom. The Animal Kingdom Lodge, to me, I think it's a really cool concept. I've stayed there a couple times. We stayed in a Savannah room once, and then we stayed in the back Savannah room the other time. So there's two Savannahs, like one with the zebras and the giraffes, and the other one's with like okapis and Red River hogs, and like the less flashy animals. So we've done both. I'm kind of like you were. I just was underwhelmed by it. Like, yes, was it very cool to walk out on my balcony and see a giraffe? Yes, that was pretty core memory moment. But the room itself, like, just kind of didn't feel fancy to me. It just felt like there was a lot of wood everywhere. And you know what I mean? It felt really clunky and not like fancy in the room. And when I tell you, we talked about deluxe resorts aren't typically that spread out. Animal Kingdom breaks the mold, because you check into that lobby, and unless you get like a really good room, you are walking and walking and walking and walking like for like 15 minutes from the lobby down the hall. It's a hallway, but still you're walking like 15 minutes down this hallway to get to your room. And it's the same thing, like going to the buses, going to the parking. It just felt very, very large and like almost confusing, because it is just such a big resort. Beautiful. Really cool to see all the animals. There's some great dining restaurants there. The lobby of the Jumbo House is beautiful. The pool is great, but overall, just kind of one of those ones that I was like, meh.
Yeah.
I'll go to Animal Kingdom to see the animals and ride the safari, but it just, that wow factor of the Savannah was not enough for me to overlook some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I think I think the food's really good there too. But I totally understand your point. And from my perspective too, if you are not staying on the main Savannah side, I wouldn't even bother.
Yeah. And there's only bus. You're staying at a deluxe resort that only has buses.
It's just
that is the
so far away from everything too.
Including Animal Kingdom, which it's directly next door to. You still have to take a bus.
Put a tram in, put another Skyliner there or something.
Put a walkway. Walk. So there you have it, folks. Sorry, don't come for us. I'm sure there are many of you out there going, what Riviera? What Animal Kingdom Lodge? But we said what we said. So
all of the agents in the travel agency, I know right now the Riviera and Animal Kingdom people are going to hear this and not be pleased. Yeah.
Before we wrap up today, in lieu of our magical mailbag this week, we decided to send a survey to the entirety of our travel agency, asking them to pick their absolute favorite deluxe resort. at Walt Disney World. You ready for the results?
Yeah, drum roll.
These were very shocking, actually. At number 3, ironically enough, it was a tie between Animal Kingdom Lodge and Riviera. So the ones that we said we don't want to stay at,
Yeah.
that was number 3
Okay,
in our
cool.
agency. So sorry, everyone who voted for those. Sorry.
Apologies.
Apologies. The number 2 deluxe resort choice of A Dream and a Wish Travel Co. was the Wilderness Lodge, which we like that one.
We like that one, but that does surprise me.
I didn't expect it to come in 2. Yeah.
That does. I thought it would be lower. Okay.
Okay. And the number 1, I don't think this one's going to surprise you at all. The number 1 resort deluxe category choice of A Dream and a Wish Travel Co. agents is, what do you think?
Polynesian.
Yes. Overwhelmingly, the Polynesian was the number 1 choice.
Yeah,
So
that seems to be. I mean, doesn't seem to be. It is. It is just one of the most widely loved resorts on property.
When you're trying to book it, it's very clear that it's a very popular one because it sells out. They don't even do some of the promos on their rooms. They said we don't even put promos on a lot of them because we don't have
they
to.
Sell out constantly.
So,
oh my gosh. Okay, so those are really interesting results.
I'm really sad not a single boardwalk area made it into the list. I was a little sad.
I know, girl. I know.
Those are ours.
Everybody needs to go stay at the boardwalk area more frequently. I think because you and I just really love Epcot and Hollywood Studios, it makes a lot of sense for us to stay in that area. I mean, plus the ambiance there and the food and the bars and the lounges and the restaurants and everything. That area is just phenomenal. So I'm going to go to bat for the boardwalk area.
Yep.
Those hotels over and over again. You know what surprises me? Grand Floridian.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of shocked that Grand Floridian wasn't like 1 or 2. I thought for sure it would be Polynesian Grand Floridian. For sure.
Actually I didn't even think about that one. Because I was so shocked that not one of my favorites didn't even make the list. So, wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. A Dream and a Wish Travel Co. Polynesian, Wilderness, Animal Kingdom, and Riviera. Those are the top 4 technically. So,
wow.
There you have it. All righty.
Okay.
So, but I guess that's a wrap of our deluxe resort tour of Walt Disney World. We did not have a magical mailbag today, but remember, if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in a future show, DM us.
You got it.
On Instagram at Dreams and Destinations Podcast for a chance to have them featured on future episodes. Also, be sure to follow and subscribe to Dreams and Destinations on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. New episodes drop every Thursday at 7 p.m. So come back and see us for all your travel tips and tricks.
And remember to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Dreams and Destinations. Don't forget to follow A Dream and a Wish Travel Co. on social media. You can visit our agency website or either of our Instagrams to request a vacation quote. The links are, as always, in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in with us. And don't forget to drop by next week where we will be discussing traveling with kids, the do's, the don'ts, and the travel hacks to keep your sanity. We'll see you then.
Dreams and destinations, we're chasing.